Hi everyone, this is audapostrophe. Let's continue our game of Vampire the Masquerade, Coteries of New York on Nintendo Switch. Okay, so we can check out Hope, or maybe D'Angelo. Let's go back to Hope. When you get to the internet cafe, Hope is already waiting out front. The sight catches you off guard. A part of you suspected she might be more of a shut-in. My haven is my castle type. Perfect timing. We need to go for a ride. Get in, get in, get in. She doesn't wait for you to respond and jumps behind the wheel of a lavender vintage roadster instead. The engine starts roaring unexpectedly, causing everyone's head to turn. Not wanting to attract needless attention, you quickly slip into the back seat of the car. The moment you shut the door behind you, the vehicle sets off, tires screeching. Sorry for not bringing you up to speed first, but hey, this is New York City. Everyone's always in a rush, and this is even more true when you're kindred. Now, allow me to take care of some business, and I'll be right with you. Even as she's zooming through traffic, she's still on her phone, of course. Nice car. How do you afford that? Thank you. The lavender really brings out its character, doesn't it? About affording things in this city, it's pretty hard. You gotta be at the top of your game at all times. Might as well explain my business plan to you while I'm at it. So, another extremely online Malk, based in New York, goes by the name of Dev Null, told me to Google Ethereum a few years ago. That's how I got into Bitcoin. And I found a new religion. 20-year-olds selling visions of governments placed by benign code and decentralized consensus. Masses ruled by algorithms, just as the laws of physics. Idiot man-child investors trying to shape their realities through sheer fanatical zeal, and dedicated collectors of things as abstract as rare SHA 256 decryptions. Her driving style is far more aggressive and dangerous than you're comfortable with. Is it just you, or does she peek into the rear-view mirror more often than she looks straight? A hyper-speculative environment where nothing has real value, only abstract beliefs matter, and your life savings can be ruined by a single bullshit tweet. How could I refuse the allure? I started buying low and selling high on a variety of shady 24/7 exchanges that allowed me with 100 times leverage, as in they led me 100 times the capital I could bet with. I got lucky at the beginning and kept the ball rolling, shorting and longing impulsively, recklessly, and got to the point where I became too big to fail, and that's when I cashed out. The car comes to an abrupt halt. You bump up against the seat in front of you. Okay, this story will be continued later. We're here, right at our first stop. I'll need you to do me a favor. What favor? A favor? What favor? Nothing too difficult. Literally a jump in, jump out kind of deal. See that weird guy in a Yankees cap standing around the corner? Approach him. Tell him you're young hot petite ingenie. Take the phone he gives you and bring it here. Ingenu? I don't know how to pronounce that. Get going, honey. It's illegal to park here. You jump out of the car and approach the man Hope has pointed out. Not all of you can... not a lot you can tell about him based on his appearance, aside from the fact that he seems pretty shady. The guy assumes a comically threatening pose as you approach him. The hell do you want? I'm at Young Hot Petite. Oh, no offense, but I kind of expected a girl. I mean, no, yeah, my bad for assuming. Damn. He takes the phone out of his pocket and covertly passes it to you. Everything's been prepared and preloaded according to your instructions. Should take about 2 minutes to transfer the data. Now get out of here. The man walks away with an exaggerated hip-hop gait. You jump back into Hope's car. She immediately steps on the gas. You got the phone? You're the best. Pass it to me, please. She connects the two smartphones using a cable and begins some sort of data transfer. Looks like it's an identical model. After a minute or two, the process is complete. All right. Goodbye, lovely. You've served me well. Hope opens the car window, grabs her old phone. You're not expert enough to recognize the exact model, but it definitely looks like it had a $100 price slapped on it and tossed it out the window. Surprised, you look behind you and see a car in the opposite lane run over the abandoned device. Hope notices your quizzical look. I've been needing a lot of burner phones lately, and I'm not going to use some cheap piece of shit, so it's a pretty expensive necessity. Intersection, red light. She takes advantage of the moment to shoot a driving selfie that strategically excludes her face and upload it to Instagram. You notice her handle there is Versace Beauty. Versace Beauty. Now, I'm telling you a story. Cashing out. Right. At some point toward the end of 2017, I became convinced I needed to cash out. There was no way the bubble was going to last forever. I always knew there would be no grapes of wrath for the cryptocurrency era. It would be a series of profoundly antisocial, disconnected events. The whole crypto culture was a decentralized church of lone millennials who rejected all established modern values and kept atoning for the original sin of not buying Bitcoin back in 2013. Another abrupt last-second turn. You are pressed against the window. What the hell is it with her driving style? Bet a life you never wanted to live anyway, and get a chance to win a priceless pile of nothing. Untether yourself from all worldly desires. Find joy in suicidal ideation. To this day, money holds no real value for me. It's an abstract as a video game score, a bunch of numbers on the screen. This joyless world changed me forever. I knew I had to escape. So I took my piles of fictional dollars to a new arena, elite New York City social circles. Not because I wanted to scam them and make more, but because I wanted to finally have some goddamn fun. I mean, of course I had to scam them in the process, but it was only in service of becoming something more than a star. A constellation. Another abrupt stop, this time next to the entrance of a shifty-looking back alley. Alright, friend, this time your leaky gut syndrome, whistleblower extraordinaire, whatever oppressed sneak fuck wants a leak, you've got it. Got it? Sorry for putting you out there in my place, but I only personally contact people as a last resort. It gets harder to protect my identity each time I show my face. And since I've got you, Harman is waiting for you in this back alley. He's paying back a favor with the flash drive containing crucial information we need to stay safe in the city. Retrieve it. I'll circle the area. Make sure we aren't in danger right now. When you're done, get back here and I'll pick you up. Everything clear? Good. You exit the car and see it drive away in a hurry, then head into the narrow passageway. Sure enough, there's a man waiting for you at the end of the back street. Unshaven, wearing wrinkled clothes, with a nervous thigh tick. He looks even dodgier than the last guy you met. When you approach, he gives you a mean look. You lost or something? I'm at leaky gut syndrome. You said you got a little something that might interest me. Oh, of course. Straight to the point, aren't you? All right, then. Clumsily, he produces a USB stick from his front shirt pocket and holds it before your face. When you reach out to take it, he pulls his hand back and gives you a sly grin. Getting all this data was risky, you know. Miss Montgomery is an unusually secretive person. Digging up dirt on her took more effort than I expected. Effort that should be rewarded, I think. The more you ask around her, the more you expect a letter saying, give up your inquiries which are completely useless at your doorstep, perhaps attached to a severed cat head. You catch my drift? The secrecy surrounding her screams, friends in high places, brave new world order, Illuminati shit, you know? Makes me think I deserve some hazard pay. Start walking away. You try to imagine what Hope would do if she were in your place. Then you simply turn away and start walking back where you came from. Calmly, wordlessly, no negotiations. Just as you're about to walk out of sight, you hear an annoyed grunt behind you. Right. I shouldn't have put you on the spot like that. My bad, okay? Get back here. You turn around and look at the journalist expectantly. He sighs and extends the hand, holding a flash drive towards you again. You take it. Oh yeah, one more thing. Not really sure what it's about, but one of my informants claims you might be interested in this. He reaches into his inner jacket pocket and presents you with something wholly unexpected. It's a bag of blood, labeled simply as ABRH-. You take a closer look, but that doesn't answer any of the questions that just appeared in your mind. You peek into the journalist's cold blue eyes and see them twitch uncontrollably. Don't ask me. They said you'll know what to do with it. Leaky gut. Come on, take it. Fine, I'll take it. You grab the bag. Anything else? Yeah, I don't think so. But thanks for your cooperation. Another eye twitch and an awkward silence. You hide the blood bag under your clothes and leave the alley the way you came in. Hope's car appears behind the corner just as you walk out into the street. It doesn't fully stop when you approach and slows down just enough so that you can jump in. The moment you close the door, she leans into the gas pedal with her full strength, causing the engine to roar. Her driving style definitely doesn't reflect how laid back she seems as a person. So, well, you got it? You throw the flash drive onto the seat next to her. Perfect. Any problems? How'd the meeting go? You relate the entire back alley encounter to her. Towards the end of the story, you notice she's not staring at the road or her phone, but directly at your face. The realization startles you. You got that bag of blood with you? You place it on the seat next to her. She peeks at the label. She looks at it again. Then she steps on the brakes. Fuck. Fuck, 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 fuck! I'm okay. She grabs both the bag and the flash drive you've obtained and throws them out the window. It looks like that's her favorite method of taking care of problems. The bag was a message. AB negative used to be my blood type. It's the rarest one, found in less than 1% of the United States population. Glad you didn't drink it. Who knows what the hell they've done to the bag. Some New York City vets can tell you wild stories about using irradiated blood to locate and kill other kindred. Seriously? Glad I didn't drink from him. Better safe than sorry, yeah. Still, I wonder if they would have done anything to his blood. That would be some kind of high five-dimensional chess move. But yeah, this contract is compromised and needs to be cut off. Goodbye, my journalist frenemy, and goodbye, dear Leaky Gut Syndrome. You've both outlived your usefulness. After a brief period of hesitation, she deletes the whistleblower extraordinaire account and sighs. Another one bites the dust. I've got another story to finish. I was talking about Bitcoin, and then where did I stop? Scamming. Oh, right. You know who saw the real face of the city? Anna Delvey. Ever heard of her? A Russian working-class girl, born as Anna Sorokin. She moved to New York in 2013 and convinced everyone that she was this insanely rich trust fund kid, a wealthy German heiress. Manhattan elites totally fell for it, and they bought it for years while she swindled them. She only got arrested in 2017 after having stolen almost $300,000. Sorokin created her Delvey persona out of thin air, convinced everyone that she was going to set up an art fund, and kept tasting all of life's finest pleasures while basically being broke. She even made up a fake family financial advisor, then killed him off when he became a liability, and apparently most of her rich victims never admitted to being scammed out of shame. By now, you're sure, the way she scrutinizes her surroundings, her reckless driving, she's trying to escape somebody. Now Delvey is locked up with murderers and Rikers, writing her memoirs, apparently picking a lot of fights. Bless her heart, she'll forever be an inspiration. But I have more advantages than she ever did. I have my own considerable funds, and I can rely on many more made-up people than just some old-ass financial advisor. A whole bunch of fake content creators and influencers that every rich dumbass wants to get in touch with and collaborate. It makes it super easy to earn more money than I invest. You've seen it firsthand, both as a deceiver and as the deceived. It's a city of illusions. Make non-existent money, come up with a fictional status, play nonsensical Camarilla games, and one day you might find yourself at the top. Alright, we're reaching our last stop. You look around. You're coming up on a parking garage. You're going to take an elevator to the 70th floor. Give the masked man you meet in front of the door this memory card. It contains an art house movie I've made. Wait, you made it? What are you, dense? You see me rehearse it in my haven. You didn't think I was doing that just for show, did you? I found some filthy rich Manhattan pervs who pay a fortune for a convincing vampire cam show. I don't need the money, but their IT industry connections gave me an idea. When you give them this memory card, we'll gain access to tech that should allow us to take on my biggest enemy in the city. So your nickname this time is going to be a Crash. You are momentarily dazed and can't immediately understand what happened. The first thing you know for sure is, if you were still a normal human being, you'd be dead for sure. You play the last few seconds in your head. The other car appeared out of nowhere and crashed into Hope's vehicle at the maximum speed it was able to achieve in this closed-off space. The driver has finally managed to kick open the mangled door next to him and stumble out of his seat. Now he wordlessly approaches the trunk and takes a large-caliber silenced pistol out of it. He starts approaching the lavender wreck of Hope's car, obviously ready to finish the job he started. You have to be fast and violent. It's you or him. Let's try outrun his gun. Your instincts take over. The world stops moving just as you start running. He can see you, of course, but not as a well-defined shape. It's a blur, and its speed is faster than his aim. It gets closer to him. He's scared. It's next to him. He's terrified. A series of superhumanly swift punches rupture his body in all sorts of horrifying ways. His world briefly turns into an ocean of agony and then disappears forever. You stand above the gunman's body, trying to calm yourself and your killer instincts. That's when you hear her voice. Hope slithers out of her car and sees you standing over your assailant. You did pretty good. She approaches the body of the driver you killed and kicks it so that she can take a better look at it. Upon seeing the front of the corpse, she lets out an annoyed grunt. Knew it would be this asshole. He's been following us all day. I know just who he belongs to. Even before she's done talking, she's already trying to reach someone through a video call. Eventually, she succeeds. You see a nonchalant woman in business casual on her smartphone screen. Kara Montgomery, how may I help you? Kara. Hope. Didn't expect you to ever reach me through this channel. Have you thought things through? Wait, did something happen? Did something happen? Your fucking ghoul just tried to kill me, you crazy bitch. That's what fucking happened. Calm yourself, for Christ's sakes. This is a baseless accusation. I know he's from Double Spiral. He's been working at your motherfucking company. Come on, you know I can't be held responsible for the independent actions of my subordinates. Why don't we meet up and talk it over? Hope disconnects the call and instantly blocks Kara from contacting her. You corporate shithead. You make me sick. Tired, she turns her gaze to the dead ghoul. I'll dispose of him. Help me put him in my car. 30 seconds later, his body is lying in the back seat of the lavender-colored wreck. Okay, good. You take a look at the scene of carnage in front of you. Every second we're here gets us closer to a serious masquerade violation. I'll have to exchange my Pal Dior worthy masterpiece for the goods of some other time. She gets behind the wheel, and you follow her inside the car. Meet me in my haven when I tell you it's safe. For now, I need to dump this asshole somewhere, get my car fixed, and plan our counterattack. You guide Hope to her own haven. She drops you off, and before she leaves, she makes what's about to come perfectly clear. If you want to survive in this city, Kara Montgomery needs to die. She disappears into traffic, and you disappear into your place. There's all sorts of people here. What's this one? A nosy reporter. There's a sleazy reporter from a gossip magazine sniffing around Sophie's haven. She could use your help with the problem. How about him? You make your way through the now familiar rusty maze of the grain terminal and up the stairs to D'Angelo's office. This time, however, you find the room firmly locked. There's a note pinned to the door. You rip it off and scan the crooked lettering. There's been another one at the scene now. Come to Bedstewie, corner of Pulaski and Garvey, ASAP. Looks like D'Angelo could use her help. Better get going. As you approach the address D'Angelo gave you, a squad car passes by, sirens blaring. Following it, you make a turn from DeKalb Avenue onto Pulaski Street. Sure enough, the street is awash with red light, and the 4 or so police cars parked on the nearest corner, next to an ambulance, confirm that you're in the right place. You move closer to what appears to be New York's finest convention, looking around in the hopes of spotting a familiar, if not altogether pleasant face. No such luck. True to his Nosferatu lineage, D'Angelo is nowhere to be seen. You stop on the sidewalk across the street, trying not to draw attention to yourself. All of a sudden, one of the cops standing by the entrance to the building looks straight at you. He does a double take, and you instinctively look away. Bad move, you think to yourself, as you notice him making his way towards you. Not allowing panic to set in, you stand your ground, doing your best ordinary citizen impression. The cop waddles across the street towards you, his sense of authority putting an extra spring in his step. Try to remain calm, even as he puts his hand on his holster. Shit, you can't help but mouth the word. This is about to get messy. Suddenly he stops, as if instinctively realizing that he was just inches away from a grisly demise. He waves at you dismissively and yells in a thick Brooklyn accent. Hey, this here is an active crime scene. Be on your way. Or leave, but trying not to show it, you put on your grumpy New Yorker face and start to walk away. As you make your way past the dark a dark alleyway, someone grabs you by the arm and pulls you into the shadows. If the smell of cigars and cheap cologne don't give him away, the gravelly voice sure does. Nice save. I mean, dumb to show your face around here in the first place, but still. Come on, I'm parked around the corner. Before you know it, you're sitting in the passenger seat of a busted old sedan parked a half block away, giving you a nice view of the police gathering. I don't want to take on the police. It's probably not a good idea. Let me talk to them. I'll get us in. There. Hey, how about you do your shadowy, skulky thingy? Maybe we can find some way to let me in from the inside. Shadowy, skulky thingy? Jesus, kid. Childish phrasing aside, it's as good as approach as any, I guess. Without another word, he gets out of the car and heads for a nearby back alley. You watch in silence as he disappears into the shadows. A minute passes, then another one, and another. You begin to worry. What if there were more cops inside? What if your moldy partner has gotten himself in trouble? Suddenly, a shadowy silhouette appears in one of the windows on the second floor. Looks like he made it after all. At least you hope it's him. The shadow waves at you and points to the corner of the building opposite the two cops. You get out of the car and quietly make your way towards the alley. Sure enough, you find a fire escape ladder has been conveniently dropped for you. Good work, D, you mumble to yourself as you climb to the second floor. Finding the crime scene proves easy enough. You just follow the yellow police tape, and before you know it, you're standing in the middle of what used to be someone's living room. The place has been completely trashed. Knocked over furniture, shattered glass, the works. Looking around you, you notice a sign scribbled on a nearby wall. It reads, His gift, our fate. You're no expert in typography, but the crooked letters look similar to the ones you saw back in Red Hook. Sure enough, there's very little in terms of blood, save for the occasional stain that's bound to end up on the carpet once you toss someone through a glass coffee table. D'Angelo leans over the doorway. He seems lost in his thoughts, sucking on his cigar compulsively and mumbling to himself. You lean over a bit, trying not to make it obvious that you're listening in. You manage to catch the last few lines of his monologue. The night's been kind to them so far, but the questions keep piling on, and now they found themselves amidst the wreckage of another life. It was up to them to sift through the debris and come up with a neat little pile of answers. Suddenly he tenses up, as if sensing your eyes upon him. Feel free to chip in, kid. Anything catch your eye? No blood, same as before. At least none spilled. So, what does that tell us? That this was a feeding? That the killer is a kindred? Might be the one we're after. Might doesn't make right. Let's not make assumptions until we see the body. Still, the pattern is consistent. God damn it, I hate where this is going. Why? The thin blood angle seems to check out. Looks like you were right. Yeah, well, this time I'd rather be wrong, alright? Anyway, it looks like we're not getting any more out of this place. No way around it. We gotta see the body. In for a penny, in for a pound. Might as well be prudent. My thoughts exactly. The Dustborn have it bad as it is. If I'm gonna accuse one of them of breaching the Masquerade, I want solid evidence. I mean rock fucking solid. Luckily for us, I might know someone who could get us an audience with our dearly departed. To your surprise, he pulls out a cell phone. A busted old clamshell. He flips it open and spends a good minute browsing through the contacts, muttering to himself. Finally, he makes a call. Hey, blah blah. You know who this is? Yeah. That favor you owe me? Time to deliver. Listen, I know you got a fresh one. The murder's in Bedstuy. I need to take a look. Yes, now. Yeah, you better. With that, he hangs up and gives you his trademark wry smile. So, are we good? Yeah, we're good. Next stop, Kings County. Kings County, the bleeding heart of Brooklyn. It's beating as hard as ever, with ambulance after ambulance bringing in sick and wounded New Yorkers to be pumped through the tight arteries of the healthcare system. It's a dangerous place for a kindred to show their face, incessantly crowded and full of people who specialize in noticing all sorts of physical afflictions, especially the sort that make up the very essence of a vampire's existence, for instance, death. Thankfully, your business here tonight keeps you away from the hectic human hive of the ER. Instead, you follow D'Angelo to a relatively quiet place of the underground parking lot that's closest to your current point of interest, the King County Morgue. Having found yourself a convenient and suitably unlit spot near the hospital wall, you wait patiently for D'Angelo's contact to appear. Every now and then, you glance over at the undead gumshoe as if to make sure his moldy mug isn't showing any signs of worry. It isn't. Or at least he's very good at hiding it. Finally, after 30 or so minutes, a lone figure emerges from a side entrance. As the human-shaped shadow walks by, you're quick to recognize him as the EMT you saw back at the murder site. Clearly nervous, the 20-something-year-old redhead can't seem to help but look back and make sure no one's following him. Finally, he stops and lights up a cigarette. Without even looking in your direction, he takes a puff and exclaims, seemingly to no one in particular, "Room 112. You got 20 minutes." D'Angelo speaks without looking at you. That's our cue. You follow the fanged detective through the same door the EMT walked out of. Luckily, this wing of the hospital seems unusually empty. Still, the confidence with which D'Angelo makes his way through the white and green corridors makes it clear he's been here before. Finally, he stops in front of one of the doors. Room 112. That's your stop. The room is small, with only one oversized freezer by the wall and a single slab mounted in its center. Sure enough, the body of a middle-aged man is splayed out on its steel surface. Even for a dead man, he seems unnaturally pale. Extreme blood loss will do that to you. Try as you might, you can't help but look at the man's face, his features twisted in abject horror. This was not a peaceful death. Looking closely, you notice 2 small puncture wounds on the victim's neck. If ever there was a clear sign of a vampire attack, you've yet to see it. Looking over at D'Angelo, you notice his lips moving in a familiar fashion. He's narrating again. Before he can utter an unintelligible word, you cut in with a remark. Those marks on his neck. Is that what I think it is? Yep. Good eye, kid. It's official. Our killer is Kindred. Look at his face, though. Sheer terror. He was fully aware, all the way through. Killing aside, no Kindred worth their salt would allow that to happen. Unless they didn't even know better. This confirms it. We're looking for a thin blood. Fuck. As if on cue, the door swings open. A tired-looking man with a stethoscope around his neck walks in, his eyes fixed on his clipboard. He doesn't appear to notice you. Yet. Favorite opportunity? Oh, I guess I haven't fed for a couple days, have I? Should probably do it. Letting your instincts take over, you pounce on the unsuspecting doctor, plunging your fangs into his aorta. The precious liquid tastes sickeningly sweet, making you feel a bit lightheaded. It appears the good doctor has been getting high on his own supply. It takes you a moment to get your fill, but then you're finally done. You immediately feel D'Angelo's eyes upon you. Shark coming up with an excuse, but he just smirks. You're a quick kid, I'll give you that. Beat me to it by a pube. Now come on, let's get out of here. Time to pay our dear Primogen another visit. Robert Larson's home looks about the same as last time. No added security, no angry dogs prowling the yard. It appears that the thin-blood Primogen would rather risk another visit from his old pal D'Angelo than to arouse suspicion of his family and neighbors. Which is good, considering that that's what he's about to get. Sure enough, the light in Larson's study is on, and you even catch a glimpse of the man himself shuffling around the room. You look over to D'Angelo, wondering how you're going to get Larson's attention this time. Without a single word, D'Angelo walks over to a nearby street lamp and leans against it, making sure he's visible to any and all who happen to look. Looks like time for subtlety is over. It only takes a couple minutes for Larson to take notice. You see him lean against the window and storm out of the room. In mere seconds, he's out in front in D'Angelo's face. Listen to me, you moldy fuck. I've had just about enough of your shit. You want to pester me? Fine. But leave my family out of it. For a moment, D'Angelo just stands there, motionless, allowing Larson to get his frustration out. Suddenly, he grabs the thin blood by the collar, lifts him up the ground, and smashes his back against the lamppost. Are you finished? All right. Now you listen to me, and listen good. You think I'm enjoying this? You think I like to be jerked around? You think I got nothing better to do than to hang around this little puppet theater you've made for yourself? Now, either you give me a lead I can follow, or I'll start remembering things you'd rather forget. For the first time you meet him, Larson looks speechless. His eyes wide with fear, he can only mutter under his breath. You wouldn't dare. Try me. Cue awkward silence. You stand there, shifting your eyes from one vampire to the other. Guess it's time to either press the advantage or play the good cop. Come on, Larson. Just give us something. It's been a rough night. See? See, Robert? My assistant here is tired of your shit, too. So, what's it gonna be? If you want my help, put me the fuck down. With his feet back on the ground, Larson straightens his collar in a faint attempt at preserving some shred of dignity. There's a place in Manhattan, Lower East Side, one of the few places in the city where my people can find shelter. Yeah, I know it. If you go there right now, you might find what you're looking for. D'Angelo stares at him for a moment, just long enough to make it uncomfortable. We'd better. Finally, D'Angelo loosens his grip. You both watch Larson limp back to his house, looking back over his shoulder, like he's going to tell the teacher on you. You look to your partner, meaning to ask what that whole things you'd rather forget deal was. As if sensing your curiosity, D'Angelo cuts in with a preemptive mutter. Come on, we got what we came for. As you reach the address Larson gave you, you find yourself standing in front of what looks like an old garage. On the outside, the place looks as uninteresting as it gets. You'd think it abandoned, if not for the few barely working lights illuminating its shabby facade. Once you're inside, however, if there was a place worthy of being called a wretched hive of scum and villainy, this is probably it. The room is littered with drunks and crackheads, human and thin blood alike, their minds lost in their cruel little whirls, their bodies splayed out across the floor. D'Angelo leans over and whispers in your ear. I'll cover the back door. You stay near the front. Let's look around and see what we can find. Before you can ask what exactly you're supposed to be looking for, D'Angelo disappears into the shadows. Doing your best to blend in with the crowd, which is fairly difficult considering your upright position, you slowly make your way across the large room. Not really knowing what you're looking for, you focus on the details, a knowing smirk, a hateful stare, anything that looks even the slightest bit suspicious. After a dozen or so empty stares, you're almost ready to give up, when suddenly something catches your eye. A young, skinny woman hunched in the corner of the room. She gives you a bewildered look, a 1,000-yard stare that tells you, beyond a shadow of a doubt, it's her. As you walk towards her, D'Angelo emerges from the shadows right next to you. Nice catch. He kneels down beside her. You can tell he's trying to sound as comforting as possible, but with his gravelly timbre, it's not really working out. Hey, it's okay. We're not here to hurt you. We just want to talk. No, don't talk. Too loud. Too loud. She seems halfway out of it. It's like the lights are on, but whoever's inside is stumbling around after one hell of a bender. All right, you like quiet. Got it. Can you tell me your name? Sana. That's what he called me. Suddenly you hear the door swing open behind you. Even though the night is fairly warm, a cold chill runs down your spine. You look towards the entrance. There's a woman standing there, and something about her just screams kindred. Even though she seems comically overdressed for the situation, somehow you don't feel like cracking a smile. Whoever she is, you can tell she means business. She starts making her way to the back of the room, not making any effort to sidestep any of the junkies and drunks. They all know her well enough to get out of her way. Acting out of bravery or sheer stupidity, you walk up to her. She looks at you as if you were something she just scraped off her shoe. You smile nervously without even knowing it. As soon as you open your mouth, her hand shoots out, grabbing you by the throat. The woman looks at you, tilting her head as if examining a curious species of insect. Suddenly, her eyes shift as she notices something behind you. Her face turns from disgusted curiosity to sheer annoyance. You... Hey, Val, that's my assistant you got there. Do you mind? She rolls her eyes. You feel the grip on your neck loosen, and you awkwardly fall to your feet. She makes her way towards D'Angelo, pushing you aside like a rag doll. Where is she? You're gonna have to be a bit more specific, darling. Don't play coy, Ginny. The manslayer. I know she's here. A blood hunt has begun. By order of the prince herself. The girl is to meet her final death. Hold your horses, honey. I'm conducting an investigation under the auspices of the sheriff. That counts for something, too. Look, sweetie, I'm not here for some clip measuring contest. You want this to get ugly? Be my guest. Otherwise, I suggest you step aside and let me do my job. By all means. He steps aside in a comically exaggerated fashion. You look at the corner where you last saw Sarah, but you find no trace of the girl. Well, I'll be. I could have swore she was just here. Valerie looks at D'Angelo. She smiles softly, but you can tell she's trying very hard not to rip his head off. You'll regret this. Story of my life. Without another word, she turns on her heel and storms out. D'Angelo waves his hand in your general direction. Come on, kid. Let's get out of this shithole. As you emerge from said shithole, you feel the cool night breeze caress your face. It's soothing and almost makes you forget how shitty the last few hours have been. Almost. Okay, kid, I know you got questions, but it's getting early and I don't feel like having a QA session right now. For now, you get one question. Make it count. Who the hell's Valerie? You know where the girl went? What do we do? It's still hard to believe that girl is our killer. Do you know where she ran off to? Not sure, but I might have some ideas. The important thing is, we know who we're looking for. Too bad Valerie knows it too. She's a scourge, kid. Part enforcer, part assassin, all around pain in the ass. We'll be seeing more of her. You can bet on that. Before you ask, yes, we've run into each other in the past. No, I don't feel like talking about it. Alright, kid, I don't know about you, but I'm turning in. I'll figure some stuff out and keep looking for our girl. Feel free to swing by the office in a night or two. And with that, he stumbles off into the distance, not even bothering to keep through the shadows. Can't say you blame him. It's really been a rough night. Somebody's watching me. Let's go take a peek, shall we? Someone is following you around. Has been for a few nights, maybe longer. That can't be a good thing. The only question is, what to do about it. Let's try to take care of this ourselves. You venture out to the street with the goal of letting your stalker know you're aware of being followed. It's time to stop this ridiculous charade. Or charade. I don't know, I don't care how you pronounce it. It's raining outside, and as you step onto the street in front of your haven, you wonder whether that'll help you. Will you be able to see the footprints of your stalker and the puddles in the ground? I'm not sure where to start. You slip a few bills to a homeless man and chat up the guy who runs the local bodega. Both of them talk your ear off about strange characters hanging around, but none of their stories seem right to you. Walking the streets, you're convinced by turns that everyone you see is an enemy agent out to get you, and that your stalker has decided to take the night off. Frustrated after a couple of hours of useless searching, you cross the road without looking where you're going. A courier on a motorbike zooms towards you and has no time to brake or swerve as you suddenly step in front of him. For a split second, your eyes meet those of the man on the bike, and you both know you'll collide. You'll get hurt. Something hits you, pushing you forward. You tumble, flying to the sidewalk as the courier zooms past. You feel a weight on your back, catch a glimpse of something, a person, female, you think, and then she disappears. You can spend a couple more hours trying to find the woman who's been stalking you, but in your shriveled, undead heart, you know it'll be futile. She's gone. Oh, seriously, that's it? Ah, you have to rest? Okay, fine. We'll rest. Qadir al-Azmai, the sheriff of New York City, is knocking at the door to your haven. The sight comes as more than a little shocking. If he had business with you, you'd either expect him to see him already inside, or never see him coming at all. Yet there he is on the other side of the peephole, patiently and politely waiting for you to let him in. You carefully unlock the door and face him in silence. Evening. May I come in? You simply stare at him. Your lack of an answer doesn't faze him, and your lack of resistance, as he starts walking inside, has obviously been interpreted as permission. Once inside, he starts looking around as you cautiously stay by the door. Haven't really had time to make this place your own yet, have you? It feels like Langley's apartment through and through, a secluded study where nobody studies anything. Look at the books on the shelf, obviously meant to impress guests not to be read. They reveal nothing about their owner aside from the aching desire to be taken seriously as an intellectual. He picks one of them up and smirks before putting it away. The Phenomenology of Spirit, next to all this garbage poetry. We can make a bet. If you read more than 20 pages, I owe you $50 and a gallon of blood. The kind of place that self-professed hermites entomb themselves in to suffer. Considering how much you have to run around these nights, you probably use it only to shelter from the sun and rest, right? Even though he's obnoxiously making an effort to come off as non-threatening, it's impossible to forget the first impression he made. You still see him as a fierce predator, trying hard not to expose his true colors. You sense a familiar fight-or-flight response as you struggle to find a diplomatic answer to his last question. If Qadir is bothered by your silence, he doesn't let it show. He keeps walking around, toying with whatever catches his eye. Eventually, he speaks up. Watch any baseball lately? If I had to guess, you strike me as a Red Sox fan. Now he's inviting you to talk in a more direct manner. You attempt to overcome your physical reaction to him and reply as casually as you can. Oh, that's, that's as casual as I can be. Your mind keeps going back to that night when everything was changed forever. Waking up with a body next to you, spending a night in the underground sweatbox, unsure of what will happen next. That endless car ride, 3 strikes, a bloodthirsty crowd, that blade, a rebirth, a baptism by fire, a frightening executor who made sure the flames scarred your spirit. As you look into his face, you realize he's read the emotions from yours. Not in the mood to exchange pleasantries, There's no animosity in his voice. He's just stating a fact. Let me get straight to the point then. He momentarily stops caring about his surroundings, turning all of his attention to you, and demanding the entirety of your attention in return. You see, there's something I've realized over the years. In large part, I may have been hired just to look menacing with a sword, but my job is all about seeing through bonds and relationships. The Camarilla would be safe as long as its members adhere to certain social contracts, making their dealings and affinities plain for everyone to see. But that, obviously, remains a pipe dream. This is a community of born conspirators, overly ambitious gangsters and politicians, monsters in denial, all sorts of tragically broken individuals. They're all driven by desires that make them incompatible with the Masquerade, incompatible with prolonged survival of the Camarilla, incompatible with the methods I use to operate. And so I am doomed to be like a cop, constantly insulted behind my back, maybe for a good reason, but immediately called for help whenever someone loses their tableware. Or, like our Agatha Christie protagonist, outwardly assisted by everyone, but constantly lied to about everyone's past and motivations, even if my failure to solve the mystery might be the end of us all. He tries to sound like he's peacefully resigned to his fate, but it's easy to detect a tinge of regret in his voice, a voice belonging to someone who once had bigger ambitions than this. What broke him? So you see, for this detective, the whodunit is, or the why-done-it is far more important than whodunit or how-done-it. When you understand all the players and their mutual obligations, you easily understand every crime. But of course the kindred know it, so they devise ways to make my job harder, just like the conspiracies between 2 unrelated actors that depend on scratching each other's backs for mutual security. Or they enforce a blood bond to make someone unexpected their thrall, a boss serving their employee, a rebel serving a tyrant, just because one is regularly being forced to drink another's blood. What has Sophie seen in you? Why does the prince keep asking me about your actions? How come you're being pushed to build your own coterie so fast? You're surrounded by unclear motivations which you yourself don't understand. That unnerves me, and it should unnerve you as well. Oh, and what are your motivations? Finally, you manage to raise your voice. Kadir notices the effort and smiles softly. So, you haven't gone mute since the last time I saw you. Good. Well, I'm here for a selfish reason. I need to develop a rapport with you to better fulfill my obligations. The last time we met, I couldn't see you as my equal. You've been accepted into the Camarilla. What choice do I have? I'd understand if you didn't want to see my face again, but I'm one of those faces of the New York City community, and as long as you're a part of it, it's going to be impossible to avoid me. Especially when I have business with you, and I do. As you might have guessed by now, one of my tasks is uncovering and understanding your bonds, and one of them might endanger our community. No, that's not menacing at all. Who is he talking about? You mean someone I'm trying to recruit in my coterie? Kadir shakes his head. I'm monitoring them, and they know it. If they're breaking the rules, they're doing it right away, meaning I haven't learned about it yet. Unless you might want to share something? A moment of awkward silence. Joking, mostly. He produces a file from underneath his coat and passes it to you. And this is our troublemaker. You open the file and see some printed photos. You freeze up as you recognize the face and are overwhelmed by a flood of repressed memories. Jessica. Jessica Lowell. The woman who made the last few years of your life heaven, and the last few weeks of it a living hell. Since she took pretty much everyone you knew with her after the split, you thought the transition to this life would be painless. No baggage at all. Have you thought wrong? You look up at Kadir, expecting answers. There are some unfortunate rumors that you committed suicide after a messy breakup, so apparently Miss Jessica here is desperately mobilizing everyone she knows to look for you. Turns out she's contacted a lot of people who might recognize you, including some in law enforcement agencies. The risk of endangering us is relatively low, but far from non-existent, which means she must be stopped. Must be stopped sounds threatening. You dread thinking of what he's planning. I'll arrange for you two to meet tomorrow so that you can straighten the situation out and say goodbye to the life you've forsaken. He'll arrange. What? Your eyes must look like saucers right now. Usually these matters are left to my discretion, and I can't think of an easier solution. The lost sheep reappears, takes care of unfinished business, and disappears, never to be seen again. Nobody cares. It's simple. It's clean. No contrived schemes, no unnecessary victims. And it gives me an opportunity to learn more about you as I observe. When Neonites interact with kind they used to hold dear, their true natures are laid bare for everyone to see. Of course, he is invested in being kind to you, or making clear his self-serving intentions so that you don't start figuring them out yourself. Any objections? Any alternatives are probably worse. You shake your head. Very well. I'll arrange a meeting and drive you there tomorrow. Better keep up with the load of bull that's easy to swallow. He disappears from the apartment, leaving you as confused as the last time he closed the door on you. God damn it. You need to think it through. For a long time, you just sit in your haven, lost in your thoughts, remembering how you once thought your world had ended with her leaving. Whining, sure, but it seems like it was prescient whining. Alright, why don't we stop it there? This is audap. You've been watching Vampire, the Masquerade, Coteries of New York. Forgetting the title. On Nintendo Switch. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching. I will see you at the next stream.